Nyesom Wike, right? That's his name.
Yes.
The
Minister of
yeah. That's
Media Pali, yes.
That's the title he currently bears. Now, he is saying that if Mr. Peter Obi comes back to the PDP will be destroyed because Peter Obi doesn't have the character, having condemned PDP as a rotten party, to come back to the PDP. Wike is not in a position to talk about character. Okay? He is not the one to talk about character. In fact, if he talks about character, he should question his own character. I don't know why people have problems with basic intelligence and decorum. He goes on television and he says, you know, Peter Obi doesn't have character. Peter Obi left PDP and went to Labour Party. Now he's in ADC. In fact, it is Wike himself that destroyed the party. And he also says President Jonathan should not come and run on the platform of the PDP because he's a statesman and all of that. He's not in a position to advise President Jonathan, just as he has made it clear that nobody can advise him. These are some of the issues in the last 24 hours. Okay? And who is he to determine the destiny of the People's Democratic Party when he is already in another political party? And I blame the media. The media gives him platform to disparage other political opponents. Yesterday he was talking about Peter Obi, he was talking about President Jonathan, he was talking about Nasir El-Rufai. What gives him that moral high ground to talk recklessly and unintelligently? Because the media, what is the media looking for? The media, they are the ones who go to interview him. They are the ones who collect money to put him on the air. If he's talking about the FCT, yes, fine. But if he's disparaging other political opponents, the media has an obligation to give all the other persons that have been disparaged to have a right of reply. So we should not create a situation whereby, for monetary reasons, the Nigerian media is sucking up to a minister of the Federal Republic who, in my view, is overreaching himself.
Barrister, excuse me, that was Reuben Abati of Arise TV, and I'm not a fan of Reuben Abati. He's someone I just don't like. He's a hypocrite. He's everything but someone with integrity. But sometimes he actually speaks he talks something that I really, really admire. Yeah, he can be very, if he's coming at you, if Reuben is coming at you, he will come at you with everything. He's a very charismatic and eloquent person. So, and yes, sometimes I like listening to him, but most times I don't, because he's a hypocrite. But today, on this, I totally agree with him. But again, that is an indictment on himself, because when he said media, he indicted the media. He by default indicted himself, because he has been part and parcel of the media, sort of. So he's been present for decades now. Reuben Abati has been in the media space now for over 20 years. So he indicted himself, and besides, I don't know if he's the right messenger to say that. Barrister, what can you say about what he said about Wike? Everything he said about Wike is the truth, but that's just the reality. Even though, I don't know, I think Reuben Abati had some personal squabble with Wike. Most of his attack on Wike has to do with personal issues. From beginning, for a very long time, they've been having this back and forth with Wike for some years now, sort of since Wike became governor, thereabout. So that's no surprise, but I think I agree with him on Wike's matter.
One thing that people miss about Wike is a very simple thing. He has described Wike as talking recklessly and unintelligently. I disagree completely with him to use those words on Wike. Wike has a method, and a successful one at that, on what he focuses on what he wants to achieve. When he is saying that Peter Obi should not come to PDP, it's not really because, he has to give a reason, but it's not really because of lack of character. He knows that Peter Obi has character. but it is a strategy. He is a promoter and a supporter of Tinubu in 2027. If Peter Obi should come to PDP, what he wants is to divide the opposition. Let PDP present a credible candidate. Let Labour Party present a credible candidate. Let ADC present a credible candidate. Then together they are nothing.
Yeah,
when the election comes. But if they begin to, if Peter Obi should come to PDP, Labour Party no longer has a credible candidate. Maybe a lot of these ADC people will also coalesce back to PDP. It will now become a very strong and perhaps dangerous platform against Tinubu. So Wike has a method and an intelligence to his actions in respect of what he wants to do. He zeroes in and focuses on what he wants to achieve. This is the mistake they are making in assessing him. When you say he's reckless and this thing, but look at his own method. He has succeeded in living in PDP and operating in APC at the same time. So he wants to retain a measure of control in PDP for the benefit of his own master, which is Tinubu. If Peter Obi should come in, he's going to upset that balance. So instead of looking at all these things that he's talking, this is not unintelligent talking. This is a very intelligent approach to what will benefit him. He's razor focused on what he wants to achieve. So when you want to assess him on that basis. Leave the language and the other things. Look at what he intends to achieve. Then map up your strategy. When they fail to map out strategy, they look at him as a madman, as a reckless person, unintelligent. They are not able to fashion a proper strategy to deal with him. That is why he continues to be in that media space. He continues to be relevant to the people that need him more than others. So let them look at it in that way. Wike still has a hold in PDP. But what he wants more than anything, why do you think suddenly the problems of the parties are getting over? The problems of Labour Party are over. The problems of PDP appear to be over. It is a method. There is an intelligence. Allow the crisis in the parties to finish so that they can both, all of them, present, be strong, and by that way divide the opposition, divide their votes totally, and leave the way free for Tinubu in 2027.
All right, on the part,
if they know and they look at this, all of them should come together.
Okay, on the part
all of them should come together in one platform. It will be a threat.
Yeah, okay. All right. On the part that Wike is unintelligent, honestly, excuse me, I do not agree with Reuben on that. I think I agree with you because criminals usually, naturally, anybody that is thriving in crime is not a dumb person. It's not an unintelligent person. The only intelligent people thrive in crime. And as far as I'm concerned, Wike, I consider him a criminal, even though the court has not judged him judged him so. But we know that Wike has become stupendously rich compared to prior to becoming the prior governor of Rivers State. So I consider him at that particular at this particular point. I consider him a criminal. So, and it takes an intelligent person to actually do what Wike has done and doing and remain where he is today and get to where he is today. So that is just it anyway. Yes, Wike, like I said, is just I just don't like that man. I detest him. I detest him, not him as a person, but his character is what I don't like. But at the same time, on the other hand, Wike is someone who is, as a minister, as a governor, I think he performed. I think so. Some people may want to disagree with me. But and as a minister again, he's actually performing. I have friends in Abuja who are testifying to that. on to what Wike is actually doing in Abuja right now. So he's performing administratively, but he's just his public conduct, political and public conduct is just is just reckless. I think I agree with Reuben Abati on that. Wike has been reckless in his utterances, in his actions. All his antecedents speaks to that. And honestly, that is it.